أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد، والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الميامين المنتجبين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد ورد في زيارة الناحية المقدسة عن الإمام صاحب الزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه: فلما رأينا النساء جوادك مخزية ونظرنا سرجك عليه ملوية برزنا من الخدور ناشرات الشعور على الخدود لاطمات الوجوه سافرات وبالعويل داعيات وبعد العز مذللات وإلى مصرعك مبادرات. صدق الإمام عليه السلام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم on this painful night, the night eve of Ashura. We said we are going to discuss Ziarat al-Nahiyah. Ziarat al-Nahiyah, very rarely ulamas, khutabas, majalis, they speak about. I find a lot of material about Ziarat Ashura. But I don't find that much material about Ziarat al-Nahiyah. Maybe there is, but I'm talking about YouTube and social media. So just to let you know that Ziarat al-Nahiyah is one of the important texts we have received in our history. Remember, we're discussing history of Karbala, history of Ashura. Okay, so this is one of the important texts, Ziarat al-Nahiyah. We discussed, because we needed to discuss from different angles, the meaning of Nahiyah al-Muqaddasa, the sanad, the authenticity of Ziarat al-Nahiyah, and then some issues in the content of Ziarat al-Nahiyah. So we discussed the first few points. The final point is some of the issues in the content of Ziarat al-Nahiyah. Those people who want to throw the baby in the bath, everything, Ziarat al-Nahiyah can never be narrated from Imam Zaman Ajjalallah. Can never be a hadith. Why? What is this? Women coming out with their hair exposed in public or in open place. What is this? Imam can never say like that. It is impossible. We cannot recite Ziarat al-Ashura. Ziarat al-Ashura is an important source of Masaib, one of the important sources of Masaib of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala. And the Masaib mentioned in Ziarat al-Nahiyah, which is recited on the day of Ashura, they echo the Masaib mentioned in other narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. As it is mentioned, أولنا محمد أوسطنا محمد آخرنا محمد كلنا محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى Imam's narrations. We examine Imam's narration by other Imam's narration. They have to be in line. If they conflict and contradict, and we cannot reconciliate and deduce a combined meaning, we have to reject both of them equally if they are equally in strength. Otherwise, we take the stronger one and leave the weaker one. Imam's word, Ma'soom's, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Fatimat al-Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam, 12 Imams, their words can never ever contradict each other. A fact in school of Ahlul Bayt. School of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are founded on this fact as well. There are several foundations. Imams can never ever contradict each other. Ma'sooms can never ever contradict each other. Number one. Number two, Ma'soom and Quran can never ever contradict. 14 Ma'sooms alayhi salam, Quran Kareem. Never ever contradict. If we find any contradiction, we have to do reconciliation. If we cannot find any reconciliation with the Quran and the words are hitting head to head, clear, explicit words, there is no implicit or metaphor can be concluded from that, we have to reject the hadith. Hadith can never contradict the Quran. So therefore, we don't have such an issue in our legacy of our maraja who found a clear contradiction standing firm between Quranic clear verses, not which can have secondary meaning, and between the words of our Aimma, clear, explicit, one meaning words, never ever found in our history. Number two, Ma'sooms and Ma'sooms, never found. Clear words contradicting each other, cannot be reconciled, cannot be made a combined meaning, never. So therefore, Ziarat al-Nahiyah does not contradict the Quran, does not contradict the authentic ahadith of Ahlul Bayt, does not contradict our aqidah, does not contradict anything. However, these words, they baffled many people. Who are these people? Not our mainstream maraja, but those alternative thinkers. They pop up from far right, far left, here, there. They say, no, this cannot happen. Okay, those who are ignorant about Arabic language and how to understand the text of Arabic language, and the specifically specialized text, which are religious texts of Quran and the words of Ahlul Bayt. They're ignorant, they're unaware. May Allah guide them, okay, so they can understand these things. So this is an introduction before we start. So what happened? What are these people? They said, they convinced their followers, Ziarat al-Nahiyah, rejection. Why rejection? How can women of Ahlul Bayt? So let me read the Arabic text and how they understood. And then I will mention how our great scholars understood. And then you will see, wow, this much basic thing they were not aware about. Subhanallah. And yet they are egoistic and they think they know more than maraja. And this is what we call compound ignorance. That means jahal murakkab. They are ignorant about basic Arabic language skills and arts. And yet they think that they know the whole Arabic thing, Bible of Arabic language. And they are ready to judge the Arabic text and confront the maraja who have studied tens of years Arabic language with every aspect of sarf, a morphological structure of the words, grammar, Arabic grammar, balagha, eloquent science. You know how many books they go through Arabic language until they become perfect? Sharh ibn Aqil, Qatr al-Nada, Matn al-Jurumiyya, like they have to take like 3 to 4 cycles, and each cycle at least takes minimum of 6 months to 1 year. 4 to 5 years. Arabic language, memorizing Arabic poetries, understanding balagha. 3 cycles of balagha they study. These are our great maraja. There are people, Tom, Dick, and Harry, they do 6 months of Arabic course and they start translating and doing this and that, and they start interpreting the religious text, and they don't have that foundation of knowledge, and they challenge our maraja and they say, Ziarat al-Nahiyah, rejected, weak. We discussed about the sanad. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about the content. We discuss about the chain of narrators, the link. Today we are going to, and there's no problem in that. Today we are going to discuss the specific area. There are several areas, but those issues are like petty issues. But these areas, when they said it, it was like a touche. See, we said we told you, we said this can never be from the Imam. Okay, how did you read this? When I tell them, please translate what you understand, they say, let's take the words of Imam Ali, but their understanding. فلما رأينا النساء جوادك مخزية. When they saw your horse humiliated. Okay. وَنَظَرْنَا سِرْجَكَ عَلَيْهِ مَلْوِيًّا. We saw this, your saddle was flipped over, turned over, upside down. So when women, they saw this, بَرَزْنَا مِنَ الْخُدُورِ. They came out of their tents. نَاشِرَاتِ الشُّعُورِ. Spreading their hair. عَلَى الْخُدُودِ. On their cheeks. Hair on their cheeks. لَاطِمَاتِ الْوُجُوهِ. Okay. Slapping on their faces out of grief. These are all actions of grief. SAFIRAAT, uncovered, without hijab, without scarf. وَبِالْعَوِيلِ دَاعِيَاتِ, wailing and calling in sorrow and grief. And you know, like when women, they shout and grieve loudly, this was their condition. وَبَعْدَ الْعِزِّ مُذَلَّلَاتِ, after the dignity, they were in humiliation. Captivity is humiliation. وَإِلَى مَصْرَعِكَ مُبَادِرَاتِ, and they wanted to rush, or they were rushing to go towards your where you fell down. So where's the problem? From these 8 sentences, they came out of the tent. Okay, they could be wearing hijab and this and that, so that's not a problem. NASHIRAAT الشعور, sentence number 3. Focus with me. I'm trying to focus this discussion so that you can understand all the where are the issues. Their hair was spread. They came out of the tent with their hair spread on their cheeks. They were slapping. Okay, slapping, you can be covered and you can be slapping on your face. So that's not an issue. But this is SAFIRAAT. Exposed, no hijab on their head, no chadar, no nothing. Okay. So number 3, hair spread on their cheeks, exposed, head exposed, and then crying and wailing. Oh, okay. Humiliation of the captivity. Okay, because now they are going to be captives. And then waila masraika mubadara, they want to go rushing to your. So there are 2 sentences. They want to slash the whole Ziarat Ashura of Nahiyah al-Muqaddasa. No problem. Let's see. And whenever we have words, we need to, these are Arabic words said in an Arabic environment. So if you are a non-Arab trying to use your Arabic skills, or you are a modern Arab, or you are from those who doesn't have any historicity of Arab culture in the past, this will be something, oh, weird or something like that. Oh no, how can Imam's daughters do like that? Okay. So, so let's discuss these things and let's see the other side of the interview. Now here, by saying that hair, they came out with their hairs on their cheeks and no hijab, without hijab, that shows a very bad image of the daughters of the Prophet. So let's see what, this is why they say, Ziarat Nahiyah, cross. We say, no, wait, let's discuss academically, politely, nicely, and let's see the probabilities. Now, if any narration, this is one of the things, okay, I'm going to mention that there are about more than 10 justifications of these sentences. 2 sentences, more than 10 justifications. So why to justify? Why not reject it? When a narration is weak, when a narration doesn't have any contextual strengthening clues, we will not bother ourselves. Khalas, reject it, finish. But since Sharif al-Murtada, as we mentioned, used to recite this Ziarat, okay, Sharif al-Murtada Alam al-Huda, the grand marja, the giant of their time, student of Sheikh al-Mufid, the giant of his time. Sheikh al-Mufid mentioned in his book, as we mentioned, I'm not going to repeat our previous session. So if this much important this Ziarat is, captured the importance, its importance was captured by our great important scholars. Until now, the scholars are justifying these points. Okay, now, so that's why, since it's a very important text for school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, a narration narrated by a Ma'soom alayhi salam, by fixing its sanad, by making the clues of context of its authenticity, it's authentic. We only come to these two sentences, then we try to justify. If it had not captured, like there are many du'as, our ulamas, they did not pay attention to it, they did not emphasize it, then the books of dua. And there's lots of weird problems, and nobody justifies those, and they just reject it. Okay? You want to do, you do, don't want to do, that's fine, Raja al-Matlubi or whatever. But this ziyarat, no, it has a great value in the sight of our great scholars. If the sanad is weak, we discussed, it has been fixed. So whenever there's a weak sanad, weak link, it can be fixed by loss of contextual clues of authenticity. We don't rely only on sanad, as we said, in historical texts, in dua texts, in moral value texts. These texts, we don't look at sanad anyways. We look at the content. Does it echo the other contents which are narrated or which are transmitted by the historians? Yes, it does. On the other hand, it gives us more new information which some other historians, they missed out, or other narrations they missed out. So that means it echoes, plus there is some extra information, painful information. So therefore, if the sanad has been fixed, the weakness of the sanad has been fixed with contextual. Anyways, we don't need to fix it. But again, our great ulamas, they said, we'll fix it. So you don't bring us, oh, sanad is weak. No, sanad has been fixed. So we don't. So Sayyid al-Khu'i said sanad is weak, but then the scholars, Maraji and other, they brought a lot of contextual clues, and subhanallah, the sanad was fixed. So Sayyid al-Khu'i never ever said the content has problem. Sayyid al-Khu'i only, in some cases, he mentioned about some names inside the Ziyarat Ashura with the names. Remember, there are two Ziyarat Ashura, and we discussed this yesterday. However, now we come to the point of the content of Ziyarat Ashura Nahiyah, because this is Ziyarat Nahiyah is recited on the day of Ashura. Okay, that's why it's called Ziyarat Nahiyah, Ziyarat Nahiyah of day of Ashura. So now we come and we try to see what are the probabilities. Ulama, as I said, about more than 10 probabilities are there. Let's try to take the justifications of these two sentences. You might agree, you might disagree. But there's one justification you will have to accept it. Okay? Justification number one. These words were literally taken, okay? How, if you take it literally, that they came out with their hairs exposed on their cheeks, without any hijab and without any scarf. How can Sheikh al-Mufid, the giant, he accept? And he does not point out. How Sayyid al-Murtada, the giant, Alam al-Huda, the great marja of that time, how could he not? Sheikh al-Tusi, how could he not point out, do these things? Because they understood it according to the justifications mentioned. Our unaware, or those who are ignorant about the basic language and basic Arabic language skills, they got problem. These giants who swimmed in Arabic language, they did not find any problem in it. And now Tom, Dick and Harry, Mullah Fulan, Maulana Fulan from United Kingdom, from India / Dar es Salaam, they come and they bring issues because of their unawareness of the basic Arabic language skills. I'm talking about the Shias. They're bringing these objections, not from the school of companion. They can bring. We have to agree to disagree with them, because they have A different methodology, different direction. But for school of Ahlul Bayt, alayhi salam, we have Sheikh al-Mufid, Sheikh al-Tusi, Sharif al-Murtada, Ibn Tawus, and all these, Ibn Mashhadi, the giants of du'as and ziyarat. They did not point out that there's a problem, these words. They were reading it. Don't say, oh, they might have missed it. No, when they read ziyarat, they read more with more focus than me and you. They read on every word and cry on it. So this is number one. There's no problem. If there was a problem, they would have raised this problem from the beginning. So how did they understand? So number one, there are, as I mentioned, there are several justifications. So number one, the word Nisa. فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَا النِّسَاءَ, plural. It could mean every woman. It could mean majority of the women. It could be some of the women. How? Let me tell you this thing. It could be one woman as well. How? Quran. أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا وامرأتكم. No. What are you saying? نساءكم. نساءنا. امرأتنا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ. No. Nisa'ana. Who was from this Nisa plural word used for who? How many? One. Fatimah al-Zahra alayhi salam. Solves the problem. This Quranic language is used here. Quranic language. Nisa used for one, Fatimah al-Zahra alayhi salam. So, focus with me. If you really know Ayatul Mobahilah, you will say the problem is solved here. I don't need to go further. فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَا النِّسَاء, when the women saw this, they came out. The Quran says, bring your women. And God chose one, Fatimah al-Zahra alayhi salam. Why didn't God say, bring imra'atana wa nisa'akum? Or bring bintana wa nisa'akum? Okay? Why Allah used plural? Because the necessities of balagha, number one. Number two, yes, Fatimah al-Zahra alayhi salam is one, but she represents the women of the world, master lady of the world from the beginning till the year after. She's one, but she's all the women. She's a role model, icon for every single woman in the universe. So she's metaphorically Nisa or not? Good. So Allah used this word. So that means these women, they came, not everyone took their hair out. Because there was Zainab alayhi salam, there was Sakina alayhi salatu wasalam, there was Fatima al-Sughra alayhi salam, there was Kulthum, there were other which were from the household of the Prophet, granddaughters of Rasulullah. And there were others like Dalham, like mother of Wahab, wife of Wahab. All these women, there were women of Ansar with them. Okay? So there were not only 5-6 women, there were about 30 women. Okay? Some say more or less, but let's say average of 30 women. So those who took out their hair, it is impossible. It was Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam, Sakina alayhi salatu wasalam, Ruqayya. The Bana, Ruqayya was 3 years old anyways. But these women of granddaughters of Rasulullah and daughters of Imam Ali alayhi salam, it's impossible this happened from them. Because this is the household, Ahlul Bayt al-Nubuwwah, role models. No matter what happens, the sky falls on the... Sabr means behold to the principles. And hijab is a great principle. They would never ever do that. No matter how deep their emotions are shattered and battered. But there are other, they newly joined, Wahab, mother of Wahab, Dalham. Many of these women, they came later on the day of Ashura, before one day of Ashura, before 2-3 days of Ashura. They joined. Some of them were women from Bani Asad. So these women, they revere and observe Imam Hussein alayhi salam is their great Imam, whom they are obligated to love him. Mawadda. They love Imam Hussein deeply. That there, why did they come to Karbala? To participate in the sacrifice for the love of Hussein alayhi salam. And they find out Imam Hussein has fallen down. What will happen to them? Nowadays, you see, who are not in Karbala, those women who love Imam Hussein, they grieve like they have lost their children, they have lost their husband, they have lost their precious ones. Subhanallah. Imagine how these Dalham and other women. So if these women who joined Karbala, who are not from the household, if they expose their hair and grieve on Imam Hussein, okay, and their hijab was like, they took off the unintentionally. These are all emotional reactions women, they do not, they don't make intention, I'm going to take off my scarf now, I'm going to pull my hair now on my cheeks. No, this is like they snatch their hair like that. So hijab comes off when they snatch their hair in the musibat. And they want to, they just want to paint themselves kind of and grieve more and more. So the hair automatically comes on their face, okay, on their cheeks. So this is, so they are exposed. They are in a deep, devastated, desperate situation of emotion collapse. It is normal from women who are not from the household of Prophet ﷺ. So here, argument number one, please count these arguments. Some you will agree, some you might disagree, that's fine. But this is a garden of answers said by our scholars. I've been searching for this for 2 days on in the words of our scholars from different spectrums from the school of Ahlul Bayt. Sayyid Fulan, Sheikh Fulan, Sayyid Fulan. Everyone is holding the ziyarat with their jaws. It is authentic. And these things are justified easily. Doesn't need rocket science. So number one, Nisa doesn't mean all women. That means whoever did was not from the lineage of Rasulullah and the household of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being role model, daughters of Fatima Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam, students of Fatima Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam. This was number one. Okay. Number one was not, how could Sheikh, sorry. Number one was, how could Sheikh al-Mufid, okay, Sheikh al-Mufid, he miss out this point, or Sayyid al-Murtad, or these giants, because they understood. This is a fiqhi language. When Quran says wujuhakum or something like that in the plural sense, sometimes it means inclusive, sometimes it means majority, sometimes and I just gave you the beautiful and the best example of the Nisa, word Nisa from Ayatul Mobahilah. Let's move on. So number one, Sheikh al-Mufid and these giants, they did it. They understood it properly. They did not understand from the ziyarat. Zainab alayhi salam took her hair on her cheeks or something like that and took her scarf off. Number two, this number two was said by majority of the scholars, that Arabs in the war system or a threatful system, the tents of the women will be between. Heart of the camp will be tents of women. And then after that, tents of their closest relatives. And after that, tents of their army, soldiers, all those bachelors, they'll be all outskirt of the tent circle. So circle around it, a circle around it. So the women's tents were just in the center of area. Okay, this was normal. So when Imam Hussein alayhi salatu, being with a few, he camped in this way, set his tent. And if you go to the Khaymaga, you will see the women of the tents be all the way behind, and then behind there was a khandaq, trench. So what happens when Zuljana came, the horse of Imam Hussein, he pierced all these tents because nobody was in the tent. All of them were martyred. The only women left. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam used to bring the bodies of the Ansar of his Bani Hashim and keep them in one tent. Because he knew all the tribes will take their bodies and bury them. Bani Hashim, nobody will take their body. And those companions, specific companions. So Imam Hussein used to bring, according to the historians, some of the historians, that he would bring the bodies. Regardless of this, there were tents. So Zuljana comes between all these tents in an area where it was a breathing area for women. That tent of Zainab alayhi salam, surrounded by tents of women, surrounded by tents of their men, surrounded by tents of the army. So he comes where? He comes to tent of Zainab and Sakina alayhi salatu, all the way in the center of the camp, which is surrounded by the tents of women, where women could easily go back and forth to the tent of Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salatu and to the tent of their men. So when this event happened, this happened in that safe zone area where no men would reach that area. That means between the tent of Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam and the tent of women, in that area, safe zone area, place where the tents of women were surrounding, in that area Zuljana came. So they came out and the tents are surrounding them from outside. So they came out in the middle area where no men could reach. That's where this happened, where the hair came. Now remember, I'm saying hair according to what was understood, that it is hair which came on the cheek. There's another indication of the shu'ur, okay? So now I'm just going with the flow of those misconceptions, that how can they bring the hair, they snatch at the hijab and the hair comes down, okay? So first, again, I'll repeat, Sheikh al-Mufid Sharif al-Murtada, these giants, they did not understood like the way unaware people are understanding. Number two, the Nisa, word Nisa doesn't mean every single woman. Number three, the geography of the tents were a bit different than the way people might picture. So several scholars, majority of the scholars whom I heard them, they said that historians also, that tents were made in a way that there was a circle of tents where there was a safe zone for women to be in between that area. Outside there were tents of the relatives, outside there were tents of those bachelors and those army men and whoever came without their family members. So this was number three. Remember, the giants. Number two, the Nisa, word Nisa. And number three, where did they come out? They did not come out when men could see them. No, they came out where it was that safe zone where they used to cry and weep and wail and mourn on their beloved ones. And remember, it's not the first time. Now, this time it was severe. It was because the leader has gone. The leader, the main, the imam, the beloved one of God, the beloved one of everyone, that person has been lost. So the emotional damage was severe here. Okay. Number four. Some of the scholars, they mention this, and it is until now this tradition is practiced. When someone's husband dies, there's a thing which is called hidad. You will find in Minhaj al-Salihin of Sayyid Sistani in the books of law. What does hidad mean? No beautification for women. Woman does not beautify herself. So what does that mean? You know, when women, they have long hair, they make those curly, twistings, and I don't remember the words, in like ponytails or tails, whatever kind of tail they make, like you understood what I'm talking about. Okay, so they make like these designs, okay, normally, and they cover it in their hijab. So the hair is decorated, but in the hijab. I want you to focus with me. If you are an Arab, you'll understand that. especially in Iraq and still many of the Gulf countries, this is practice. So what happened when a woman's husband dies? They untie these ponytails or whatever, twisted hair designs. They untie them, they make them plain hair. And yet they cover, when they come out in front of men, their hairs are spread, but they are wearing their scarf. Focus with me. This is practice until now. Ulamas of Najaf, ulamas of Karbala, I heard them. They said when we were children, we used to see when somebody received the news of the death of their husband, they in front of the women, they will just untie everything in the hair, like they will make it loose hair. No design, no curl, no combing the hair, no combing. This has some religious rule, okay, but it's mostly a cultural thing Arabs used to practice. So what happens? No designing hair, no decoration hair, no curling, no twisting, no making those kind of things, okay? That kind of situation happened here. Yes, they spread their hair on their cheeks, but still their faces were covered. You got the message here? So their hair were on cheek and their faces were still covered. It doesn't mean that. So what about SAFIRAAT? I'm going to come to that. They did not expose their head. They came out in open air with their covering. Sufur is a word which in 20th century in Arab communities were used mostly for those women who are taking off their hijab. So sufur doesn't mean, sufur means something comes out. Sun, sufur shams, the sun rose, the rising of the sun coming out. So the Imam says safirat, not without hijab. Safirat, they came out of their tent. You know, when somebody is in musibah, they just come out and start putting the dust on their hair and this and that. This is desert cultures I'm talking about. You might not be aware of. So they come in the outside and they grieve, and some of them they snatch their scarf, and some of them. So, but these women, okay, let's say all of them, they did not take off their scarf, their chadar were there, but they untied their hair because of the musibah, including Sayyidah Zainab, Ali, all the women. They untied their hairs and still they were in the cover. Okay. So these are this is the which justification? Cultural practice. Related religion to the religious hidad, grief of 4 months and 10 days of women when her husband dies. Okay, this is an Islamic rule. But it is not this extreme to untie everything. But the women, they feel that if they tie, they're making their hair. They should not make their hair. They should just comb simply and that's it. Making their hair is they're beautifying themselves for their husbands, or in front of the women, or in front of maharim, those blood relatives. So this is now, alhamdulillah, which one? I'm going to summarize again, because these are important things. Number one, these giants, they did not observe the way you guys observe. So there's a problem in your understanding. Number two, for justification, the word Nisaa, that's the best justification. It's a Quranic justification. And our Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam use Quranic language without any doubt. So third justification, scholars, they indicated the tent's geography. Fourth justification, cultural practice of women of untying their hair still on the scarf. Okay. And then fifth justification, even if it was done by some women, even in the household of the Prophet, some of them they did, it was done unintentionally out of this severe grief, which many disagree, but since it's a possibility, I have mentioned it. Okay, that sometimes our infallible imams are infallible, 12 imams and 14 ma'sumin. So they intentional, unintentional mistake does not happen from our 14 infallibles. That's our belief. But other than 14 infallible, unintentional mistakes can happen. And this is a very severe emotional trauma, the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. So for this fifth justification is that severe trauma caused even Sayyidah Zainab. I disagree with that, but I'm mentioning for me, Nisa is enough. The Quranic is enough. But I'm mentioning the justification. Ulamas, the reason all these justification, Ziarat Nahiyah is authentic. This is not a problem. We can justify this easily. That's the reason I'm mentioning that. This shows that how much strong and popular authenticity is of Ziarat Nahiyah. Okay. That's a fifth justification, because they were not masoom and this was severe pressure. Sixth justification, it's a metaphor of grief. They did not take their hair out. It was just some of the metaphorical eloquence indication, because Imam is mentioning Ziarat, he uses a lot of eloquence in it. So it's an eloquence to show that as if their hair were on their cheeks. Okay, so they came out of their tents, spreading their hair on their cheeks doesn't mean that they really did it. It is a metaphor indicating their severe grief. It's a justification mentioned. Number 7. If I lose the count, please forgive me. Number 7, and this is a strange justification, but surprisingly, a Sunni scholar, Tabarani, mentions it. I'm not talking about Shia now. This justification is given by a Sunni scholar, and Ibn Taus. So what happens? He mentions that when Imam was killed, a prolonged solar eclipse happened, or a dust storm came, created severe darkness, made the visibility very low. Nothing could be seen for a while. So here, when the women came out, okay, all of the women, based on this justification, there was darkness. Nobody could see them. Okay. So this is which? 7th justification. Remember, you don't have to agree with this, but I'm mentioning, a Sunni scholar mentioned this justification, that there was a kind of darkness where visibility went very low. People could not see each other. And Imam alayhi salam also mentioned in Ziyarah, when the qastalul ghubar, when the dust rose, Imam went inside, striking the enemies, like in one of the segments of Ziyarat Nahiyah we mentioned. But this is after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. There was a darkness. So let's recount. The reason I'm repeating, I know you are tired and bored. These are very important. First, why didn't these great giants understand? Number 2, what was? Nisa, solver of the problem. Finish. Not all the women. Number 3, the setup of the tents. Okay. Number 4, cultural practice of Arab women opening their hair inside their scarf. Number 5, it was not literally they came out. It was a metaphor of grief. Number 6, even if Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, which I said, even if Sayyidah Zainab, okay, they're not masoom like 14 masoomin. I disagree with this opinion, but this is there. No, it was a disastrous emotional trauma, not emotional pain, emotional trauma, where their souls were shattered and battered, their emotions were destroyed in that grief. They say Zainab also might have done that, but they don't have any evidence. Okay. So our Nisa issue solves it. And we said they're role models. They're used to tolerating the tragedies with their scarf and hijab. And number 7 was solar eclipse or dust. The visibility went low. Number 8. This opinion says this happened when Imam Hussein was martyred, because there is one historian indication indicates when Imam Hussein, while he was still alive, while he was being martyred, Dhul Janah went to the tent and the enemies went into the tent. Okay, enemies also went. While Imam is being martyred, the camps are being looted simultaneously. So when they were forcing them to come out of the tent, they were taking their hijab away, or they were taking their chadar away. If we go with the hijab away, then obviously their hair got exposed. Now, some of our Arab beloved ones, scholars, they don't like this. They say, no, 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 there's hijab was covered. But historically, when the Arabs, they would attack a tribe, they would capture their people, they will enslave their men and women. Sign of enslaving women was to take off their hijabs, headscarf. So they will be known that these are slave women. This was practiced. And these barbaric Yazidis, they're worse than Jahili people. They beheaded Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So scholars, they say, what is hijab of Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayhi? It is severe tragedy for Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam. Similar to the severe tragedy of Imam Hussein alayhi. They both are severe tragedies. Some of our Arab amazing scholars, may Allah bless them, they don't want to hear this. Okay? So we respect them. But this is one of the possibilities, okay, that the hijabs were being snatched. When Zuljana came, the armies, they came behind, they snatched their hijab, they forced them to come out of their tent, they were burning the tent, so they were coming out and they were snatching their chadars or hijab or whatever interpretations you want to go. So in that case, some of the women, their heads were uncovered, and some of the women, they might have maintained their head covers, and that's why this goes the eighth probability. Okay, so these are 8 probabilities. I think the best probability is number 1, the Ayatul Mobahilah solves it totally. Number 1. Number 2, the setup of the tents is also good, that this happened in not all the women, number 1, and whatever happened, it happened in a safe area. Zuljana, because Zuljana did not find anybody in any tent, only that he knew that women are in tent, Sakina and Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam, in their tent, so he came to their tent. Third probability is also not bad, they spread their hair, but the riwayat says hair on the cheeks. على الخدود ناشرات الشعور على الخدود. And that is where this kind of opinion gets conflicted. That, okay, their scarf, it was in it, but yeah, not a problem. They were covering their faces. Their hair were on their cheeks, but their faces were covered. That can solve the problem. Okay, so number 1, the ulamas, they did not find any issues in it. They understood what was meant. So what was meant? Ayatul Nisa. So Ayatul Mobahilah. Nisa anaw Nisa. Okay. Not every woman did this. Not every woman was Zainab, Sakina, and there were other women as well. Okay. And the tent location is a good. And then the final one, which is missed by most of the scholars and shuyukh and khutaba. The word shu'ur, I want you to pay attention, especially if you are from the Arab communities. And you must have heard a lot of justification on YouTube and this. Only one scholar, only one out of 20 scholars I followed their opinions and justification, only one scholar gave the justification of the word shu'ur. What does it mean? Like, remember what says, ناشرات الشعور, spreading their feelings on their cheeks. Spreading their feelings, not their hair. Shu'ur, in Urdu also we say, his shu'ur mara hua hai. His shu'ur is dead. His feelings are dead. He's a dead guy from it. Yes, he's living, but he doesn't have any feelings for others. He doesn't have any feelings. Yash'ur bil khawf. He feels with fear. Yash'ur bil aman. He feels security. Yash'ur bil hub. He feels loved. So yash'ur is shu'ur, is feeling. Their feelings were manifested on their cheeks. How do you manifest? The face expressions, number one, the tears. The face expression, when somebody is really devastated, you can know from his face that person is in severe grief. Many people sometimes they say me, Sheikh, what's happening? Why are you sad? How did you? Your face is very sad. People, they know from the face expressions, from the way your cheeks appear, and the tears on the cheeks, your feelings are coming on your cheeks through your tears. Very beautiful interpretation, missed out by many of our beloved shuyukhs and sada. Very beautiful. واقعا شعور على الخدود, يعني ملامح شعورهم على الخدود بالدموع بتقاسيم الوجه. So this is only one, there must be others, but one scholar I found on YouTube, and that was really a striking answer. Why didn't our ulamas, respected ulamas and khutabas, they did not pay attention on the word shu'ur? So shu'ur is not a plural of sha'r, hair? No. I checked in Arabic linguistic books, lexicons. I wanted to make sure before I tell you guys. Shu'ur is feelings, affections, emotion, feeling, sentiment, okay? Mind's power, or an act of understanding, knowledge of information about subject gained through experience, state of being experienced in and knowledge, something you feel, sensation, sensibility, sensitivity, sense, awareness, consciousness, perception, all inside things. None of them, they translate shu'ur as hair, plural of hair, because it's not plural of hair. Go to the lexicon. Sha'r. Sha'r is a plural. Sha'r is hair, plural of hair. Not one hair is called sha'ra. One hair, one strand of hair is called sha'ra. Okay? One strand of hair, this one, I don't know whether you can see or not. This is sha'ra. This is sha'r. Sha'r is plural. Imam does not say sha'r. Sha'r ala al-khudud. Imam says shu'ur. Very rarely you might find, I did not find, you might find some Arabic linguistics, they might have translated or found sha'r shu'ur is plural of sha'r. Because sometimes there is in Arabic plural of plural. I did not find. The thing I found, the meaning of one hair is sha'ratun, like baqaratun, and plural of sha'ratun is sha'r, like baqar. Namlatun, ants, naml. That means you remove the ta, circular ta, it becomes plural. So, my beloved ones, Imam never said their hair. And a lot of justification. 8 justifications have been on hair. Their hairs were out. Their hairs were out. Their hair were out. So the thing is, the first probability, if you want to go with the interpretation of hair, not all the women did. Nisaa, Quranic direction. And if you want to go with the meaning of hair, here comes Arabic language. What does shu'ur means? Here, in the context of the ziyarat, feelings of devastated grief, was on their cheeks. Look at the words. NASHIRAAT الشعور, spreading their emotions of grief on their cheeks. How do you spread the emotions of grief on the cheek? By the expressions, by the tears continuously flowing, spreading on your cheek. The tears, they indicate your devastated emotion. SAFIRAAT, we said they were out. So they were in their scarves, they were in their hijab, all of them, if we want to say all of them. They were SAFIRAAT, they were out under the sky, okay? Because Zuljana was out, they came out. So they were out, not their hijab, their hair was covered. Sufur, we said this is an indication of 20th century Sufur, not in that time. Sufur means something out, so they came out. Barazna min al khudur. They were out. Safirat, under the open sky. They were out. So, and their feelings were spread on their cheeks. Expressions of feeling. That's all. The problem is solved. This is the best interpretation. You don't have to exclude Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam. You don't have to exclude Sakina alayhi salam. So, in nutshell, the conclusion, there might be some women, they might have taken off and did, because as I mentioned, there were some newcomers in there, and there were some from different tribes, from different traditions where they have this. So they might not have had lessons of fiqh and hijab and this kind of thing. But Ahlul Bayt al-Nubuwwah, the women of Risala, Zainab alayhi salam, Sakina, Fatima, Sughra, and all those, no, impossible that they could do that. Even that justification, I disagree with that, but they were not ma'soom. Emotions were like, yeah, but they were used to, trained to. They went through so many tragedies. Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, their mother Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, tragedies after tragedies, musibat after musibat. And from the day of Ashura, they lost their precious ones, Qasim, Abdullah son of Hassan, Aun and Muhammad, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. It's not the first tragedy. They're used to stand firm, not compromise with their principle, even if they were in a severe, devastated grief. It is impossible to such kind of thing can happen. So that is why, in conclusion, we say it is not difficult to understand if you understand the word shu'ur does not mean plural of hair. In lexicons, in language books, shu'ur means feelings. Their feelings were manifested on their cheeks because of the devastation trauma. And sha'rah is one strand of hair. Sha'r is the plural of hair, not shu'ur. Sha'r is the plural of hair. So if we try to go through the text again, according to this understanding, so let's see what the 12th Imam said and how easily the text is understood in the context of the morality and the role modelness of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And there's nothing at all in this text which is against Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam or the women of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, let alone the other women as well. So Imam says, فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَا النِّسَاءُ جَوَادَكَ مَخْزِيًّا وَنَظَرْنَا سِرْجَكَ عَلَيْهِ مَلْوِيًّا. So when the women saw your stallion feeling shameful, because Dhul Jannah is shameful, he could not hold Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Because Sakina said, Ya Jawad al-Hussein, oh Dhul Jannah, where did you drop my father Hussein? Where did you leave my father Hussein? My father Hussein was thirsty. Did you ever feed him water? So Dhul Jannah is shameful and crying and grieving. that he missed Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein was triple off him. Barazna min al-khudur, they emerged from their the tents. NASHIRAAT الشعور على الخدود, their feelings of grief were expressed on their cheeks. لاطمات الوجوه, striking their faces. SAFIRAAT, they were out of their tents. وبالعويل داعيات, veiling, calling out in sorrow. وبعد العز مذللا, humiliated after their honor. وإلى مصرعك مبادرات. So what will be the next movement? The next is they want to rush to find out where is our beloved Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Where did Zuljana drop Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Or where did the enemies drop Imam Hussein? Oh, from Zuljana, they want to they then rushing to your place of the slaughter. And let's see some of the segments, painful segments of Ziarat and Nahiyah. Imam Salamullah alayhi sent salams not to only Imam Hussein. And now he's sending salams plurally. He's sending salams to Habib, Zuhair, Burair, Muslim ibn Awsaja. Tonight, all of them are there. But tomorrow night, all of them will be martyred, lying on the land of Karbala. Their heads will be beheaded. And that's why Imam Sahib al-Zaman says, Assalamu ala dima is-sa'ilat. Salams upon the bloods which are dripping and spilling. Bloods of the companions of Imam Hussein. Blood of Ali Akbar. Blood of Ali Asghar. Blood of Qasim, blood of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, blood of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. السلام على الأعضاء المقطعات. Salams upon the dismembered parts of the body, the cut parts of the body. Because you know there are some martyrs, their body were cut iraban iraba. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Ali al-Akbar, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, and Qasim, their bodies were cut iraban iraba. And then what happened? On what you will send salams, Ya Sahib al-Zaman? Salams on the heads which were raised on the spears. Why, Mama? Why, Abbasa? The heads were raised on the spears. And then who are you going to send salams? Salam ala niswat al-barizat. Salams on those women who were out in the wilderness. As we mentioned, when Zuljana came, they all came out under the sky, crying and grieving. Their feelings, their tears were on their cheeks from the devastated grief. And then what else? In all these, the companions were observing patience. Imam Hussein is observing patience. Salams. Now Imam Sa'ab al-Zaman from plural goes to the single pronouns. Salams upon the one who is patience. Al-Muhtasab al-Sabir. Salams upon the one who is oppressed without any supporter. All the companions were martyred. Yes, Imam Hussein was strong. He has all his strength. Even when Ali al-Akbar, when he was keeping his cheek on the cheek of Ali al-Akbar and saying, Ala dunya min ba'dika al-afa. There is no taste left in life after you. Oh, my son Ali al-Akbar. There is no taste left in life after you. Still, Imam Hussein had his whole strength. His whole strength. Why? Because Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was alive. But then Imam Sahib al-Zaman says he was left alone. Bila Nasir. There was no Nasir left after Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. His arms were cut. His body fell beside the Euphrates. His body was plunged with the arrows. An arrow in the eye, an arrow in the heart. And then Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, when Imam Hussein comes, he drops himself on the body of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Say, Wa Abbasa, Wa Khayya, oh Abbas, oh my brother. So Imam alayhi salam was left without. He said, Al-an inkasara dhahri. Now my back has been broken. Now the support I have, the back I had is gone. Al-an qallat hilati. Today, I don't have any choice left. الآن شمت بي عدوي. Now my enemies will be mocking me. Salams on the one who is habitant of the pure soil. Salams upon Imam Hussein. Assalamu ala sakin at-turbat az-zakiyah. Yes, Imam Hussein, and your place, your ground is a holy ground because you were holy. You made Karbala holy. Assalamu ala al-qubbat al-samiyah. Salams upon the lofty dome of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, where the dua is mustajab. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu ala Ali al-Kabir. Salams upon Ali al-Akbar. Ali al-Akbar. The heart of Imam Hussein got shattered and battered on the body of Ali al-Akbar. Some say he was saying, Wa Ali ya waladi Ali. Waladi Ali. And that is why there is always special ziyarat of Ali ibn al-Hussein, because he was a special precious son of Imam Hussein. And then Imam Sahib al-Zaman says, Assalamu ala radhi' al-saghir. Salam upon the infant who broke the heart of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Wa imama wa madluma. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us always with grieving on Imam Hussein alayhi salam. May Allah never ever deprives us from grieving on Imam Hussein and from the azadari of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep every grief away from us and all our beloved ones around the world, except for the grief of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and all the mu'min mu'minat around the world with all the goods of this world and goods of hereafter, and protect us from all the evils of this world and evil of hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all our marhumin, your marhumin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieve the desperate ones around the world, especially those children in Palestine and those people in Iraq and Pakistan and Iran and Syria and Yemen and all these places where people are under a very severe, devastated economical crisis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieve them. May Allah make the appearance of our beloved Imam soon and keep us from his loyal and sincere supporters. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. We recite Surah Fatiha for all our beloved marhumin and marhumin of those who are providing this platform. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم. اللهم العن قتلة الحسين، اللهم العن قتلة الحسين، اللهم العن قتلة